Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. The Jalot Home Team at Keller Williams Mid-Willamette Real Estate, the #1 team in Oregon, 541-451-2211, teamjalot.com. Make 2025 your best year ever. Set and track your goals with the Independent Planner. Designed for entrepreneurs by an entrepreneur. Supplement your digital calendar. Independent-planner.com. Kicking Cancer. Kicking Cancer provides support, education, and resources for cancer patients, survivors, and families. Kicking-cancer.org. And now let's get on with the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Here we are, and guess what? I am here to greet you, but guess who's with me? There he is, Mr. D. Scott Smith. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Having, when you're on the road and you disconnect all the computers and you bring it back and you say, oh, looks like everything's working, but it's not. Well, here we go.
There you go. It's a morning of technical stuff because as the show started, it was not broadcasting on Facebook, but I fixed that. We're all good to go. It is now broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, everybody. So we're good. So thankful everybody's here, especially you, Scott. Tell us a little bit about your travels and where you went, and now you're back.
Yeah, we took off the middle of last week to visit family in Oregon. We were able to visit a couple of times with Chris's 93-year-old mother, and so that was exciting. And we got to see some friends, family. It was just a nice visit. It was a crazy thing that we actually saw snow on the Oregon beach. I've never in my life been to the Oregon coast with snow on the beach, but there it was. So it was fun.
That is,
yeah, and obviously Russ and I got to spend time together. If any of you follow us on Instagram, which I encourage you to do, you'll see some pictures of us at the Broadway coffee shop.
Yes, we had a great time. Got to see you and Christine, and what a blessing that was, and very thankful for that time and that you honored me with taking a moment to stop and see me. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure, of course. And so it was good. We've got a great guest today. Peaches is going to be on. We're going to learn some great stuff. Always inspirational guests is who we have here on The Experience. And Russ, we are coming up to episode 200 very quickly.
I know it. It's shocking how quickly it's coming, because right now, everybody, we are on episode number 193. So before you know it, we will be there. Yeah. And so very thankful for that, the time we've had. Scott, and we got at least 200 or 400 or 600 more to go, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's there's 8 billion people on the planet. So we've got to work them through the program here. Everyone.
Okay. Scott froze a little bit there. So I'll just jump in and say, we're so thankful you're all here. Just want to remind you all that we are here every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. That is 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. And Scott is there. I am here. And we are so grateful that you are here, no matter where you are, no matter what time that it is. We come straight from The Experience Backstage, which is on Instagram only, every Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or that's 8:30 a.m. Texas Standard Time. So join us for that on Instagram if you want, and you can bounce over here. It's just a lot of fun. Getting ready. Our friend Shri is there with us giving video tips. And so we'd love for you to join us there. But, this week coming up is going to be great. And we're already halfway through it. And I think because we're halfway through it and you're here, Scott, we should get our guest in to get things rolling.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Peaches is an amazing person. She and I was able to have a great conversation just a short time back. I'm blessed to know her and call her friend. Let's bring her in here. Peaches Udoma. Hello. Woohoo.
Hello, Peaches. Good morning.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, I tell you, I love the smile and the enthusiasm. Thanks for being with us this morning. And we only ask the most remarkable people to be on this show. So that tells you what we think of you. And so thankful that you're here. Why don't we just start off by the basics? Who in the world is Peaches and what are you up to?
What am I not up to? That's the question. Who I am is a power and success coach, a teacher, a writer, an editor, a journalist, a project manager, a program manager, a mama bear, as I'm called by one of the communities that I serve. And I love people. That's who I am.
Well, boy, you have that down nice and short. And I tell you, you do love people. I can tell that from the get-go. That's why you and I clicked so well, because I love people too. So why don't we, before we jump into things a little bit more, give us a little bit more about your success coaching and all that you do.
Well, I work as a program manager and coach for something called Wealth and Impact Bootcamp, which can be found online at wealthandimpactbootcamp.com. And I've been with them for we just had our 6-year anniversary. The bootcamp program will be 6 years in June. And in that program, people come in who are impactors or impactors in the making, who want to magnify their impact on the planet and monetize to match their impact. And the only people we actually have in the program are those people who want to uplift the planet in some way. So it's not a program for everyone. It's a program for people who have a commitment to raising the vibration in the world, whether it's through helping people or the environment or animals. If they're committed to supporting civilization and making things better, then we want them in the program. I also have my own private coaching practice. I also work with nonprofits as a nonprofit consultant, helping them launch. I also mentor young people in their careers. I am the head of an internship program at the University of Connecticut, where we place interns out into the health districts around the state to support them in opioid misuse prevention programming. So I do, I've been in medical research for several decades now, and doing that, helping to submit grants to the NIH for studies. So I work with researchers. I taught grant writing for a number of years to MD PhDs. So, I guess I just really am here to help.
Awesome.
I love that you work with students. I'm involved with a couple of different groups working with students, because that's how we protect our future, right? Investing into the students who are our future. And we often talk about the value of coaching and why people want to invest in that. And so I'd love to hear some success stories of folks that you've worked with coaching through the different programs that you're involved in, because as we say, people will go out and spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on a formal education and then balk at a $5,000 coaching fee.
Yeah.
So let's get some insight from you, Peaches.
Well, coaching is very different, obviously, from the classroom. And with coaching, if you have a good coach, what you're going to get is someone who is a guide and a beacon for you and a partner with you. So making the investment in coaching is that you get someone who's really with you through your process, helping you to create your process, execute on your process. It's more than being in a room with a lot of people and being given assignments. And it also, good teachers are coaches. And good coaches are teachers. You're doing both at the same time. I've been in classroom education since 1986, teaching for that long. And it's a very different experience, but I try to bring to classroom teaching the same level of commitment and love and support that I do to my coaching clients. It's really about modeling success for people. So, and also if people are balking at coaching fees, it may be that the coaching fees are too high for them. It's always good for a coach to look at her or his or their coaching practice and whether or not they're charging for their particular market appropriately for their particular market. Sometimes, and I'll coach people who are my impactors, you have to go up a little bit, go down a little bit, depending on that's up and down. Okay, you have to do that in order to meet your clients where they are, because clients won't feel supported if you're not being with them, with who they are, with what their needs are. If you have some sort of an agenda, if you have some way of doing things that really is very cookie cutter, and you're not thinking about who's on the other side of the phone or the video, then you're not going to succeed with them, because they're not going to feel heard and met where they are.
Right.
I'm not sure I answered your question.
You
Did I
know,
answer your question?
no, I think that's good. You gave a good overview. And I was wondering if you could share some success stories of folks that you've worked with.
Oh my, there are so many, hundreds of folks that I've worked with. Some of them you can see on our Facebook group page called Global Impactors Club. So Global Impactors Club, people can join that and they can check out success stories from my coaching and from our program, Wealth and Impact Bootcamp. I also have another Facebook group called Power and Success that people can join to see what people are up to. I mean, where do I begin? There's so many different fields that people are in who I work with. People who have started out working for a company and then becoming the CEO or buying the company. People who started out as doctors and then ended up as authors and on television regularly. People who, of course, I don't give names because coaching clients are private, so they'd have to actually give permission for their names to be shared. I have coached people who started businesses, who launched nonprofits that are going to really, actually one of the nonprofits I'm working with now that's brand new is called Top 8. And this is a young woman who is a PharmD, so she's a pharmacist MBA. And you're going to learn more about it on my page. It's called Top 8. And what she's doing is she's bringing hip hop dancing and art and music to children's hospitals around the country in order to have raise the morale of these kids who are very sick. And so I'm very proud of my work with Top 8. We're gearing up for funding now, and that's very exciting. I also worked with a nonprofit called OSDPC. It's a nonprofit that goes to Haiti and brings medical missions and dental missions down to Haiti. I actually went down in 2019 before COVID and taught journalists in that part of Haiti. So, I mean, everyone is a success because everyone succeeds in his or her their own way when they are committed to something and take actions consistent with that commitment. I love coaching.
Yeah, well, I can tell that. I can tell that you just, because you love people, and that is where it really counts. And, you know, I always love the quote because you obviously care about people. You talk about meeting people where they are and really caring about them. And I love the quote by John Maxwell that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And caring about people makes all the difference. Listening to them, like you said, making them feel heard. That is what a good coach is, and that modeling, right? People don't realize. They think, oh no, I don't need a coach, too expensive, whatever. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor. It is because we all need help. We have blind spots. We don't see everything ourselves, and we need that input. That's why I have wonderful people like D. Scott Smith up there that I work with that help you do those things. And I think that is so important. We're coming up on the Super Bowl. I can tell you when Patrick Mahomes came to the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, their coach, did not say, dude, I'm going to teach you what a pass is. I'm going to teach you what a hike is. I'm going to teach you what a run is. Patrick Mahomes already knew what those things were, but he needed a coach to model, to instruct, to make him better, to push him beyond where he was currently. And I think that's the kind of things you're talking about, right?
I am. You know, it's about what's missing that you can put in to take yourself to the next level. When people come to me for coaching, I'm not training them in their fields. They already know how to do what they do. My job is to have them take the layers off, anything that's standing in the way of getting to their top level of greatness. So that's what we look at together is how big do you want to be? You know, you already know how to do this thing. I don't have specialized knowledge in that area, but I can see you and I can see and I can hear you. And we're going to work together on getting you to the point where you want to be. What is your dream? What do you want your impact to be on the world? Or when it's relationship coaching, what do you want your impact to be on your relationship? How do you want to show up in your relationship? How do you want your partner to have you in the relationship? So it really is what you're saying. It's not about teaching someone something they already know. It's about optimizing what people have and who they are and reaching what they want to have.
You know, it's really looking into that long-term vision. And so many people, and I found this with small businesses, they just get caught up in the tasks, the day-to-day stuff, right? They're just looking down at the trail for the next step. But what I hear you saying is you need to get your head up and you need to look out to the horizon. And so talk about some of the techniques that people could employ today.
Well, I think that the problem with that, or not a problem, but the dilemma here is that everybody is so different. Everybody is so different. And I have to actually sit and hear the person in front of me to know what they need to be doing next. So there are a lot of templates for how to have better lives, and there are books we can read on how to improve certain things. But I think that what we find is that when we truly succeed at any particular modality, or when we succeed at using modalities, it's because we've created an amalgam for ourselves of different things from different people who have motivated us in some way, or different programs that have motivated us in some way. So I would say that what people should do is, if they're looking to get help, really research that type of help and see if it resonates with them. See if it's a match for them, for their energy, for their desires, for who they are. All too often, I think people grab onto coaching because they feel desperate or scared or upset about something, and it's not a match. It's like being in a relationship with someone for a really long time who you kind of can tolerate each other, you can survive each other, but it's not really a match. You're just kind of hanging in there, surviving it. You're not really growing and experiencing a joyful partnership with that person. You want to make sure that in the same way with a coach, that you've got someone who's a match for you. You've got someone who, when you leave the session, you feel enlivened. You feel like you're ready to take that next step. You feel like you just heard gold come out of your coach's mouth. That was gold. That was gold. I know gold when I hear gold, and that was gold. So you want to look for that kind of a coach, for someone who fits you. I don't know if that's really, the kind of advice you're looking for, but yeah, I wouldn't, for me, I have to really hear the person and what they're looking for before I can make recommendations as far as what path they should take.
No, I completely agree with that, because you need to listen to where people are. I think the number one thing that I do is listen. I ask a question and I just start listening, find out what's going on. What are their real needs? Where are they going? What are they trying to accomplish? And before you start, giving them the one size fits all package, which may not really apply to them at all, right? You obviously do what you do and what you specialize in, but within that, you want to give people the most impactful and good information that will help them. So, all right. So what I love too is your attitude about life. Where did you get your sparkling personality and all that? I mean, tell us a little bit about Peaches. Tell us a little bit about you.
That comes from my mother. I've just got to be honest. My mother's 91. She'll be 92 next month. And we lived in one of the boroughs of New York City when I was a child, before we moved down south. And I would go, my mother didn't drive in those days. This is the late 60s. My mother didn't drive, and we took mass transit everywhere. And I would watch her interviewing people on buses and trains and subways. She would find out what people did, and then she'd say to them, well, did you know you tell us that you're a janitor in a high school, and that's wonderful, but you sound more like a teacher. Did you ever think you might want to actually be a teacher? And somebody would kind of like cock their heads and look at her and say, well, no, I never thought of that. Well, you can be a teacher. All you have to do is you just need to go to college and study these different things and get an education degree. And by the time the person walked off the bus or the train or the subway, they were all puffed up with excitement about life. And I would see my mother do this over and over again with people. She was coaching people. She was coaching people on buses and trains and subways, and she's still doing it. At 92, she's still the one in her retirement community that they want to be an ambassador to talk to the new people when they come in. She's still the one that's getting groups together to talk about what they need to do to improve the food in the place. My mother and my whole family came to this country as revolutionaries. They came here to escape persecution, and they started groups and initiatives here to help the working people in this country and to make life better for them. So I come from a legacy. My grandmother was a journalist and for Yiddish and Russian newspapers here in this country. And so I come from a legacy of leaders and people who wanted to make things better for other people. So I credit my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather, who, owning businesses in Brooklyn, grocery stores and women's clothing stores, would make it his business to walk across the street every day and bring a bagel to a woman in the apartment building who was too sick to leave and go get her own bagel. And so he would leave his business to go deliver a bagel to her. This is how I was raised. And I'm very proud of my background, my lineage, and getting moved. And, I plan on carrying it out. I don't have children of my own, but I was told a very long time ago that some women are meant to have children and some are meant to raise others' children. So I feel like my work helps to raise people, even who are adults.
I like this legacy concept. And my wife's mother turned 93 last September. And earlier in the year, I was talking to her and I mentioned that she was 92, and she said 92 and a half. And so, when you're a kid, 2, no, I'm 2.5. No, I'm 3, right? Well, it cycles again when you hit into the 90s. So this is great. This legacy. And is this something that you also teach individuals about, how important it is what they do for this long-term legacy?
What I try to bring to people is to have them look at where they came from and try to retain the jewels that they were brought into the world by. It's important for us to remember where we come from so we can know where we're going. It's important for us to give credit to the people who struggled before us to make it possible for us to have what we have now. It's a little bit heartbreaking sometimes when I talk to young people who really aren't interested in who fought for their rights before them. I think that that's missing in school, that we should be helping people focus on, because I know when I was a child in the Queens public school system, we would have at least once a year, we would have a school event where everybody would dress as their culture and bring food in from their culture and share where their parents and grandparents came from and the languages and the music and all of that. It's, this country was created as a sanctuary for people from everywhere. And we need to remember that this is supposed to be a place where we comfort each other and make each other feel safe. That's why my grandparents came here. And so it's important to remember where we came from and to support other people who come for safety as well. So I do think that we should stay aware of our legacies, of our cultures, and remind each other, hey, you weren't born in a pod. You came from somewhere, right? Unless it's like
Right.
that movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but you weren't born in a pod. You actually I'm sure you guys know the movie I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the original is much better than the later version. So
Wait,
Yeah.
was it Invasion? Wait, was it Cocoon? Where'd they
Oh
come
yeah,
in from? Pods?
Invasion of the Body Snatchers had the pods, right? The
Yes.
little pod. Don't fall asleep.
Right.
Just don't
And
fall
then
asleep.
the Cocoon that Ron Howard produced. Remember, they all came out of those
Oh, yeah.
pods in Cocoon. Great movie.
Yeah.
So we didn't come out of pods. We actually came from somewhere, from people, and from places. And I don't want people to lose track of where they came from, because then we all become the same.
Well, and I
And
think it's so important, Peaches, that, we are better together, definitely. And I think it's important to think about not only where we came from, where we are, and where we're going, but to really focus on the here and now, what kind of impact we want to make on future generations. And I think when you're coaching and you're helping people, they are, it's all about what kind of an impact are they going to make on the people, because that coaching and that legacy, and like Scott was talking about this morning, all that you create is going to affect and make a difference, an impact on people years to come, right? And I think that's so critical. So, all right, well, listen, as we get ready to wind up the show for today, I want you to give us really your golden nugget of today's conversation. What do you think you really want to make sure people remember? And then remind them how they get in touch with you, because we want to make sure that everybody watching, whether it's live on replay or listening on podcast, whatever, has an opportunity to reach out to you. So go ahead, Peaches.
Okay, well, first, I think that what I want to leave people with is that we should find as many opportunities to show love as we can. That if we can each day express love for someone or something, it actually changes the world. We're not going to express love every minute. We're going to get mad. We're going to say things. We're going to do stupid things. We're human. But if our goal is to at least be committed to showing love and being emblematic of loving souls, I think that it'd be the best thing that we could do. So that's what I'd like to leave people with. Look for places to love, whether randomly or, with people that try to be loving. And I remind myself of that every day, because I'm the same as everybody else. I fall down on the job all the time. But it's not about not falling down. It's about picking ourselves back up again, because we're going to fall. Where can we raise ourselves and others up? And people can get in touch with me at my website, which is being revamped, but go there anyway. And that's just peachypower.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn under Peaches Udoma. And you can also find me at Wealth and Impact, one word, Wealth and Impact Bootcamp, one word.com. That's our program for impactors. So lots of different ways to get in touch with me. And of course, Russ and Scott know how to get in touch with me too, if you want to reach out to them. And thank you so much for having me today. I just feel uplifted by being with you.
You bet. And I love that. JustPeachesPower.com. What a great site. People can remember that.
Just Peachy Power.
Just Peachy. Just Peachy.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Just Peachy Power.
Right.
It's right there. It's right there in front of me. And I still said it wrong. Just Peachy Power. And, I want to tell everybody that not only is it right there on the screen, the correct way, not the way that I said it, but also it is clickable in the comments and the show notes, and you go straight to Peaches. And if you're listening on audio podcast, which this converts, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever, after we're done with this today live, you can just find your computer and go into justpeachypower.com, or go back and find the actual live stream, which sits there as a video podcast after forever. So you have all that information right in front of you. And the best way that I want to remind everybody right now as we're talking is to just go to local.theexperience.video, and that will take you to all of our information, including the information about this show and Peaches. And we appreciate everybody being here. Peaches, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate you. We're going to send you to the green room, but hang tight for just a sec. All right.
Great. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
All right. See ya. Wow. I tell you, we have the most joyful, amazing people.
And always we say inspiration is, and it's true, right? What Peaches learned from her mother is something similar that I learned from my mother. And it's not about making money. It's about living a life that makes a difference.
Right.
And you can make money too. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but let's look how do you make the world a better place? If any of you were in scouting or something like that when you were young and you went camping out into the woods, what did the leader say? Leave the campsite better than you found it.
Yes, absolutely.
And apply that to the world.
Yeah, leave life the way better than you found it. I learned so many lessons that way. Boy, I tell you, that's interesting you bring that up because that brings back memories. My favorite part of scouting was going on the campouts. Hikes and campouts were so amazing. And you learn a lot from all of that. And the number one thing, you're right, a big thing in life is leaving things better.
Mhm.
Make an impact on people, everybody, and that will be amazing. Well, Scott, before we go here today, I wanted to make sure and show everybody. There we are.
Yeah.
That's Scott and I. Before we, when he came to visit me, I'm going to take that off. There we go. We had a great time. He and Christine was there too, but I just wanted to show you a picture of Scott and I. So much fun being able to get together with you, Christine, and what a blessing again that you were able to swing by. I see you on video every week, but it's great getting a big hug and seeing you.
You know, 3D is good, and always encourage people when you travel around, seek out those folks that, especially the ones that you haven't seen in a long time or have never met face to face. Take the opportunity while you're out and about. And on the other side, when some of your friends say, "Hey, I'm coming to your area," make an effort. Don't say, "Oh, you know, it's kind of early in the morning," or "I don't know, it's a 90-minute drive." Do it. Come on. Sometimes they travel thousands of miles. Go see your friends.
There you go. I agree with that 100%. Listen, everybody, we are so blessed to have you here today. Just a reminder, local.theexperience.video, all the information about Scott and I. Please subscribe on our YouTube, which you can do at local.theexperience. But if you want to go straight there, the experience.video will take you directly to our YouTube page. We're trying to grow that page. We'd appreciate you doing that. And this show, whether you're watching live or on replay, you can share this with your friends. You can tag your friends. You can make comments. It doesn't matter if we're not live. You can still engage with the hosts, with our guest, with the other people in the comments, and that you will be blessed for it. I'm telling you. So until next week, we will be back at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. And we're just so blessed to have this amazing community. It makes me feel... And Kermie's excited, so we know it's good. So anyway, Scott, thank you. Until next week, have an amazing week, everybody, and enjoy
the experience.
Woohoo! Yep.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.